So we begin, first off, with the news of the day before we get to our little fun. Charlie Morton. That's right. Atlanta Braves striking again. They've got a real precedence here when it comes to one-year contracts. They did it with Josh Donaldson. They did it with Marcell Ozuna. They're doing it now with Charlie Morton. They just did it with Drew Smyly. 1 year, $15 million deal for the former Ray as Morton, Alex Anthopoulos. You know what? Let's beef up that rotation. We've already got Fried. We've got Anderson. We've got Wright. We've got Soroka coming back. And now Morton joins them as well. This is the rare guy, Tom, that late in his career figures things out. 2017 with the Astros was spectacular with the Rays. The Rays, they declined that $15 million option, and he immediately says, you know what, I can get that money elsewhere. He goes to Atlanta.
It's a great move for the Braves. Listen, this is designed to get them past the Dodgers. This is a move to try to get them to and to win the World Series. And you mentioned this. This is a guy, normally you look at the age and you think, kind of shaky. This guy is still one of the best strikeout pitchers in the game. Historically, I went back and looked at strikeout rate ages 33 to 36, last 4 years for Charlie Morton. Third all time, almost 30%. So he's a guy who continues to have premier stuff. Although, I got to tell you, if you saw him early coming out of summer camp 2.0, you'd say, what's wrong with Charlie Morton? Look at the velocity on these fastballs. He normally should be 94, 95. You can also see he does not have the same arm speed right there. But again, that's a function of the shorter camp. You know what he did? He went on the IL for about 3-4 weeks, regained shoulder strength, and when he came back, that's the Charlie Morton we've seen the last 4 years. You're talking about a guy who can punch out hitters with fastballs in the zone. It's got that kind of life on it. But we all know Charlie also is the master of the breaking ball. I'm not sure anybody can spin the baseball side to side the way that Charlie Morton does. And that did not change. This guy consistently spins it up there at 2,900 RPMs. That is off the charts good. So look at Charlie Morton. If I'm the Braves, I see a guy who I can rely on at this age, going in 37th season, as a guy with that breaking ball that plays. So to me, you mentioned this about the Braves, 1 year contracts. I also look at the Braves and Alex Anthopoulos as a guy who jumps the market. Go back 2 years, right? He went out and got Josh Donaldson, Brian McCann. Last year, Will Smith, Chris Martin, Travis d'Arnaud, all in November. This year, Drew Smyly and Charlie Morton. He's got 40% of his rotation under 1 year deals this year in November before he has his Thanksgiving turkey. So Alex Anthopoulos, give the guy credit. Listen, when you go out and sign people early, you tend to pay top dollar. The Rays declined $15 million option on Charlie Morton. He's getting 15 from the Braves. The Braves weren't going to that number. Charlie wanted to pitch close to home. He's got his money, he's got the contender, and he's close to home.
And there was some thought that when it came to Charlie Morton, he's got 4 young kids. Maybe if the Rays decline the option, he won't want to pitch. But Val, I saw you on MLB Now quoting Michael Corleone. Go ahead, give it to us.
I was going to give it to you.
This is a case of Godfather 3.
You blew my whole game. No, because remember, about 3 years ago, he was talking about retirement. He had some injuries, and it's like Michael Corleone of the Godfathers. Remember, he kept trying to get out, and they kept pulling him back in.
Just when I thought I was out,
$15 million.
they pulled me back
Give
in.
it to me. I know
Just
you got
when
it.
I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
There you go. And the Braves clearly pull in Charlie Morton. And I think as I look at this team, they are a legitimate threat to unseat the Dodgers.
Wow.
They took them to the brink, and you add Smyly and Charlie Morton to this rotation. Never mind the fact that it's an offense that may be arguably the best offense in baseball. Weighted runs created plus. They're tied for third. This is going to be a tough team next year.
And you know, as a catcher, Morton's breaking stuff. I mean, it is unbelievable. The way Tom is describing the break on that pitch, it's so sharp.
Well, just in that little rip right there of pitches, his command with his fastball starts everything. Yeah. And then you add the different angles that he throws that curveball, the sweeper, the 12-6. He's got it all.
Charlie Morton the 4th, by the way. That is actually true. So we're getting the V's in there. That's right. Charlie Morton the 4th. When you look at his numbers from 08 to 16, this guy was a sub-500 pitcher, 4.5 ERA. The number that really jumps out there, honestly, Tom, is strikeout per 9. Because wins, obviously, that can be a different variable. ERA is different. But when you're jumping up that much in strikeout per 9, that's noticeable.
Yeah, I mean, he really reinvented himself as a pitcher once he got to Houston. You know, he was a guy who was a heavy two-seam guy, like in those days in Pittsburgh, get the ball on the ground. Houston said, you know what, your four-seamer should play up. So he learned how to get behind the baseball with the four-seamer, traveling up in the zone with carry on it. Again, he can spin that really well as well. So I think the mixture of getting to Houston, the analytics there, really good team behind him as well. I mean, he's become a big-time strikeout pitcher, and we know what he's done in the postseason. He's been Mr. Clutch.
Yeah, he definitely has been Mr. Big Game, Charlie Morton. So we'll see if he's victorious with regards to the Atlanta Braves.